Well, partner, it's that time of season 3 where we gotta have an episode in another era, somewhere in the past, because it worked so well with 1602. And if I had a cowboy hat, this is where I'd tip it. Welcome back, everyone. It's me, Amanda, and we are here to talk about What If Season 3, Episode 6? Episode 6. It's going by really fast. This is What If 1872. I was wondering if there was more of a title. I had to be like, wait, is that all it is? Yeah, What If 1872? Which of course takes place in the year of 1872. Now, as much as I joke about, the fact that we have to have some sort of it's in another time period episode, I had a fun time with this one. Although, there are some things we need to talk about. But before I get into that, hello, I'm Amanda. You might know me as Vamp, and these are some spoilers coming up for What If Season 3, Episode 6. So, fair warning, spoilers in effect. This is an episode I was personally very excited for because it is a Shang Chi episode. It's Shang Chi, and it's also Hawkeye, Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Two characters I really love. Shang Chi especially, who is also voiced here again by Simu Liu. I really love his version of Shang Chi. I will say that this is one of those cases where the movie actually got me more into the comics with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's still one of my favorite of the Marvel movies, I think just ever. I really, really like that movie. I have a lot of fun with it. So I was really looking forward to this episode. I was excited for it. The whole idea of it is that Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop Hawkeye, they are hunting down this person who's known as the Hood. So the Hood has taken Shang-Chi's sister, Xu Xialing, and he is looking for her, and Kate has her own bone to pick with the Hood, who we find out later in the episode she believes is responsible for the death of her dear papa, which is how they're able to fund their exploits, the Hood. But it turns out it wasn't actually the Hood, because it was Walton Goggins? Does his character have a name? Sonny Birch honestly sounds like he's probably an evil Western guy. Sonny Birch. That's kind of what we're doing here. I do like how it plays with the historical elements of the era and kind of playing with this idea of the railroad being built by many Chinese immigrants that were coming in, and so they're kind of playing with that angle of the story of it's just that when Shang-Chi and when Xu Xialing came over to the US, she was, promised it was going to be this great land of freedom, and then found out that, because she was Chinese, she was treated differently, and so she was looking to get back at the Hood who was oppressing her people, and then ended up kind of becoming the Hood, and then also kind of being the one to oppress her people, but in a way where she wants to use them to create her own army to rise up and basically conquer the United States and take it back for all of the immigrants who have made to feel othered. Which, this whole premise of it and kind of what they're doing with the historical elements I thought was interesting, and I actually enjoyed that part of it. What I didn't really like about this is I do feel like it's a little too samey with just what happened with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Spoilers for that if you haven't seen that. If you haven't seen that, go see it. It's really good, especially as an action flick. If you're like me and you love action, it's got some literally insane stunts and fight sequences in it. I highly recommend it just for that alone, but also it's, I think, a very heartfelt story with some really good acting as well. So the thing with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is that Shang-Chi is kind of looking for his sister, and then he finds out his sister is actually a badass and is actually basically running a criminal underworld. And so in this story, kind of the same idea, except I guess the difference here is that she was possessed by the Hood, which is more of a mystical artifact here. The Hood is a character from Marvel Comics who typically is known for being more of an evil character, currently Ghost Rider in the comics, but the Hood's evil, so evil Ghost Rider, which, that's a thing that sometimes happens. With the Hood, he's a character that ends up finding out that the power that he gets, which comes from the Hood, is also connected to Dormammu, so hence the evil stuff. Also often affiliated with the Masters of Evil, and I actually saw this character in the Mary Jane and Black Cat Beyond issue, which if you haven't read that, by the way, not only does it have the Hood in it, but it's just really good. But what I do know is that it possesses people seemingly in this reality and kind of, I think, warps their mind and maybe makes them a little bit more power hungry, because as soon as this Hood is actually off of Xialing, she ends up coming to her senses, basically being like, no, you're my brother and I love you, and like, it's all good. You came, you found me. Sorry that I tried to kill you. That element of the story, like I said, I just didn't really love because it just felt kind of, we've already done that. And it's once again a story where I feel like we actually could have dealt with a lot of tragedy that kind of gets glazed over. And in the end, the heroes persevere. And I mean, obviously part of that is because the Watcher interfered and made sure there was no youngins getting tossed off trains, which... yep, fair enough. But also, once again, it just feels like Disney's playing it really safe with these episodes this season. I just feel like there isn't a lot of risk, and because of that, there isn't a lot of reward for us as the viewers to feel as invested. I do feel like the action scenes in this were really fun to watch. I do really love the idea of a partnership between Shang Chi and Hawkeye. I thought that was really, really fun. It was really cool to see, and I'd love to see more of that dynamic with those two together, because that was cool. But I feel like in the end, I feel like the whole idea that Shang-Chi is willing to throw down his life rather than hurt his sister, and even when Kate is dealing with Sunny Birch and she says, no, like, killing you would be too good of a way of dealing with you. It'd be too good for you. I want you to suffer. And then we never really see what that exactly means. She just knocks him out. It feels like it's like, well, she's a hero, so she can't kill him. And obviously, Shang-Chi isn't gonna kill his sister because he's a hero. And then in the end, you know, Xialing does end up getting shot by Kate, who mistakes the situation and thinks it's the Hood. And I mean, it is the Hood, and that the Hood is gonna kill Shang-Chi, which was what was about to happen. And so because the Hood gets blown off her, she does die, Xialing, but she comes to her senses in the end, and Shang-Chi's just like, you know, it's fine, Kate, you didn't kill her, the Hood killed her. And I was like, oh, this feels very typical. This feels, now we're back to the territory that I'm used to. And it just feels a little old hat. And I'm not saying that you can't have the heroes doing good things. I'm not saying they have to, like, kill a bunch of people. I don't think that's necessary. However, the way that you craft the story, the way that it's done, it doesn't have to feel as predictable as this, and this just feels very safe. Granted, did I have a fun time with the episode? I did have a fun time with the episode. I think overall, I'd still give this one like a 3 out of 5, even though I just wish there was more. I wish that there wasn't like just these tropes that are getting in the way of anyone actually having any consequences or any growth. It feels too safe. And I know it's also because the Watcher interfered. I get it. But I'm just like, but then stop that. Don't have the Watcher interfere. Why are we even doing that? What are we building to? I don't know. Whatever the next episode is going to be the one where we deal with that, I guess, because I think it's what if the Watcher never watched? What if the Watcher disappeared? And so I guess this is where the Watcher is going to be. It's gonna be punished by the other Watchers, and he's gonna be in trouble. And then we won't have any Watcher, and then everything's gonna go crazy, probably. And then we have what if. So we only have 2 episodes left. I know it's all gonna be tied together, but I don't know. I'm just feeling a little tired, even though I should have really been excited for this episode. Like I said, I love Shang-Chi, and I do love those elements of the episode. The one thing is I wish they would have done more with Walton Goggins here, because this character just feels kind of flat. Like, I just wish they gave him more to play with, which is not necessarily bad. It's just not super interesting. I don't know. Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe I'm expecting too much. Anyways, that's where I'm at with this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Did you love this episode? Was it just meh for you as well? Or, you know, were you just really bothered? Did you really not like this episode for some reason? I don't know. I will also say, I think the animation is something that is kind of getting in the way of these feeling a bit more expressive than they could. But I'm not exactly sure if I fully agree with that thought yet, but it is something I've been reflecting on, so we'll see how it continues to develop. If you like stuff like this, me talking about animated Marvel shows, I also did a whole thing on X-Men 97 when it came out, and in fact, there are probably a lot of you that know me from that. There's a lot of people that came to my channel for that. Those reviews were really fun. They're really near and dear to my heart. So if you haven't seen them yet, if you're new to the channel, please do go check them out. I highly recommend. I love X-Men 97. I had such a fun time with that show, and I cannot wait for season 2. I'll see you next time, and until then, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye!